Hi, I'm Jennifer Podemsky, and I wanted to just give you a little bit of an insight to us as Native people. We don't love land acknowledgements. We don't love listening to them, and we usually don't present them in our own ceremonies or gatherings. So I wanted to offer something special, and that is an action item that will amplify your work as an ally and bring more attention to the work that I'm doing at the Shine Network, which is a not-for-profit organization serving Indigenous women in the screen sector. So we've created a course, the first one of its kind in the world. It's a cultural sensitivity course for the Canadian screen sector, and it's available for free at theshinenetwork.ca. It's called Pact, and I would love for you to take it. And that's my land acknowledgement. This is an actionable way you can showcase your allyship.
Hey Firecrackers, it's Naomi and welcome to the Firecracker Department. How's everybody doing? Are you settling into 2025? I am-ish. I got a puppy, can you hear it? Yapping away, dealing with a little separation anxiety because I'm always home. Alfie, the most adorable little cockapoo you're ever going to see. Yes, you can go to my Instagram at Snieckus if you want to see a picture of him. That's kind of my full world right now. But I feel good. 2025, I feel is going to just take off like a rocket. We've got a bunch of things planned with Firecracker Department. And then personally, I'm going to go on tour with the show that I created with my husband, Big Stuff. So lots of fun things coming up. What have you got going on? What are you writing? What are you creating? Who are you collaborating with? We had our first Igniter meet and greet yesterday, and it was so great. If you aren't aware, Igniter is a comedy film challenge where our partners, Canadian Film Fest and Firecracker Department, have teamed up to challenge people to make more comedy. So we give you the prompt, we give you a bunch of mentorship and workshops during the month, and you have a month to make a short film. It's our second year doing it, and I love it. We had over 70 people turned up for the meet and greet, and my favorite thing was people saying, this is my second time on the Igniter program, or I'm coming back as a past Igniter. So just seeing like the repetition of people that are coming back because they know it's a good program, they feel like it's furthering their work as artists, all that stuff makes me feel really good. So yeah, I hope you're diving into making something exciting this year. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be write a sketch. It could be write a monologue. It could be collaborate with a friend. It could be, I don't know, see more theater, see more films. It could be all these things, but I hope you're putting a little bit of a dream, a goal out for 2025 so you have your eye on your prize and you get closer to the things you want to be doing. Little mini steps. In improv, my background, for those of you who don't know, is an improv with Second City. We often talk about bringing a brick. Like you don't have to build the whole building, you just have to bring a brick. And then somebody else will bring a brick, and maybe a third person will bring a brick, and suddenly a bunch of folks will bring these bricks, and you'll have a whole building. So don't feel like you have to conquer the world today. Just bring a brick. So my friend, I get to talk to Jen Pogue today. I mean, it's one of the best things about this podcast. It gives me the opportunity to go deeper with friends that, I know really well, like Jen Pogue, but then we get to have a whole other level of conversation because of this podcast. And I love that. Jen Pogue, you'll know from shows like Ghost Writer or Netflix's I Woke Up a Vampire, Hudson and Rex. She is the creator, the host, the producer, the writer, the CSA winner, thank you very much, of County Blooms. She is the director of industry at the Canadian Film Fest. She's one of the producers on Film Coop. She's just one of those people that whatever project she does it with heart, she does it with care, and she does it with a level of artistry that it makes it shine. Just makes it shine so bright. Makes you want to work with her. Honest to goodness, every time I see what she's creating, every time I just spend like an afternoon or we all have dinner together, I'm always left with the idea that I need more Jen Pogue in my life. I bet you'll feel the same after listening to this conversation. So I'm not going to tell you any more about Jen Pogue because I'm going to introduce you to her and stand by to fall in love. Here she is, Jen Pogue.
Hi, buddy.
Hi,
Hi.
how's it going?
So good. I don't even know where to start talking because I have like friend questions and then I have like firecrack. I'm gonna meld them all together.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah.
How are you doing? You're in Halifax, first of all.
I'm in Halifax. I just landed in Halifax. I'm so good. I've just been like floating on a cloud all week. It's been such a fun, energizing, exciting week. And I'm starting to come down. I'm feeling a little tired,
Yeah.
but
Okay, it's not right in the trajectory of the discussion, but I do just need to hear about the CSAs. And
yeah,
I have to tell you, so I saw that you won the CSA for County Blooms.
I did. Yeah.
I'm emotional about that. I'm so proud of
Oh,
you. I'm
thank
so
you.
proud of you. You won, and I was like, did I just win a CSA? Like it felt so big. You worked so hard, and
Oh my
tell
gosh.
me everything. Tell me everything from the cabbage dress to everything else.
Yeah, the cabbage. Well, honestly, I was just so flabbergasted and honored to be recognized
Mhm.
with a CSA nomination. And then when I found that out, well, when did they announce? Like back in February or March, I think. And instantly, just like instant panic. Like, what do you wear? How does this
I
go? What do
know.
I do? Also, I'm so excited. Why am I so stressed out about what I wear? Anyways,
It's so funny, right? Isn't that the constant juxtaposition in our business though of
yeah,
like the art, like you create this beautiful thing. The County Blooms is gorgeous. It's like for those folks that don't know, it's like a show about flowers for God's sake. Like it's so beautiful, but it's also about people and like
yeah.
people fulfilling their own dreams. And it's so beautiful. So you put your love into that and then you go, now how do I look? And it just feels disconnected.
I
And
right? So disconnected.
but it should maybe it shouldn't be. I don't know.
Long story short, trying on dresses can be stressful sometimes. And I went to Fitzroy, which is an amazing dress rental place in Toronto. Women run. It's just, they have so much fun stuff there. And so I'm like, I know I'm going to rent something from Fitzroy. I actually rented my wedding dress from Fitzroy
That's
four and a
so
half years
smart.
ago.
And
And
that was
so,
gorgeous too. You looked like a
yeah.
princess. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I felt like a princess.
Yeah.
But
But like a nice prince, like not a I'm stuck in a castle prince, more like I'm running the world and I can run in this dress.
watch me twirl.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I got this. I'm gonna
Yeah.
mesmerize you with my twirling. Yeah,
That's
it was
right.
fun. Anyways, I narrowed it down to a few dresses from Fitzroy and I showed photos to and I had number one picked the cabbage dress. I thought I saw someone wearing it or trying it on and I thought, oh, that's fun. And then I tried it on and I said, this feels so fun. I think this
Yeah.
is how I want to feel on the big day.
Mm,
And
I like that. I don't go into dress trying on with the how do I want to feel. That's really good.
ah,
That's really good.
yeah. Because there's some that were gorgeous and I'm sure I looked nice, but it's just like I know how these things go. Like I'm gonna
Yeah.
be there for 6 hours. I don't want to feel like this for 6 hours. I want to
Yeah.
feel fun.
Yeah.
So yeah. So anyways, that was my number one. And then I showed friends and the reactions I got from friends was just instant. No, instant like, do not wear that.
Oh, no
Do
kidding?
not wear that. Yeah.
I thought yeah, I loved like that you looked comfortable.
Yeah.
Like you looked like yourself. You looked like you weren't concerned about fitting the right way. You looked like when you went up on stage, you're like, no, this is just who I am. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was perfect. That's so funny. Your friends were all like, boo.
They were like, no, do not wear that. And then I did hear from a friend after. She's like, you don't take very good pictures in dressing rooms. And I'm like, okay, maybe that was part of it. But
Okay, that's fair.
but anyways, not to monopolize this conversation with dress aware, but it was just such an interesting lesson for me to because that I felt fun and good by choosing that dress. And then I showed friends and then I second guessed myself for a month and a half leading up to the event.
Yes.
And then I kept thinking, okay, if I find something else, then maybe I'll switch, maybe I'll switch, maybe I'll switch. And then I didn't find anything else that made me feel as happy. So I just said, okay, I gotta remove the noise. I'm just gonna go with my gut.
Yes.
And I picked that one. And maybe people were laughing behind my back, but I felt great all night long. And
Nobody was laughing at anything
okay.
like that. That if they were laughing, it was not
And
that.
I got a lot of compliments, and I think the photos stand out. And I feel when I see the photos, I feel like how I felt on the inside.
Mhm.
I see how I felt, and I think that's the most important. So
But I think it's more about like following your gut. Like that also happened
yeah.
with when I named Firecracker Department because I had a list of
Ah,
like all these different names. I asked way too many people. I
yep,
didn't ask
yep,
myself. I didn't go with my gut. And people were like,
yep.
"What about this? I don't like this." Like I had 10, I asked, 20 people and 20 different ideas. And then finally I went with my gut and it was fire. And I never looked back. I'm so happy with it.
And right, we spend so much
Right.
time just looking for outside approval when we
Ugh.
kind of know. And that's also when I started paying attention to. I would show because the first question people ask you when a fancy event is coming up is, "What are you wearing?" Like it's just such a big part of our discussions, right? Like,
Yeah.
and so I started using it as an exercise for myself. Like if I showed them a photo of my number one and someone said, "Oh no, I don't like that. I like that." If I felt disappointed or not, or if I felt,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
they
yeah.
said that, like just trying to put so much power into these outside opinions
Yeah.
and just validate my own gut.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah.
I think that's a muscle though, like into your art too, right? Like,
Hmm.
didn't you find when you were like, look, County Blooms was not done on a millionaire budget. So
No.
did you find like you had to constantly check in with your gut with that? Because I think it is a muscle that you're constantly having to tune.
Yes, and this has been part of the whole lesson entirely. Like the whole concept of county blooms hasn't really ever been done before. And I was figuring it out every step of the way as I went. And the what I wanted it to be, what my vision was for it is so niche compared to anybody else's really experience of the world in flowers slash film. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say every step of the way I was figuring it out, and it was mostly when there just wasn't time and decisions had to be made that
Yeah.
it would happen. And yeah, just the whole thing has been just, yeah, such a lesson to keep going and just
Oh
go
my
for
God,
it.
you are like the
Yeah.
poster child for keep going. You are like seriously, it's incredible. But I just have to ask because sometimes I'm like, I push back on somebody's idea. Like I'll say, like, oh, what about this? And sometimes I'm like, am I pushing back because it's ego, or am I pushing back because my gut is telling me this is right? Like,
Mhm.
how do you make sense of that?
I think I just really wanted to show off what I thought was the best representation of the people we were interviewing.
Yeah.
And so making it less about me and more about them was helpful in
Mm.
that regard. And I just wanted everyone to be proud of it. That was putting something into it. I wanted everyone to, feel good about what they saw represented on, and also how their stories would resonate towards somebody like me that was coming at it with just, yeah, just so much interest and intrigue, and like, how do we, you know, make this accessible worldwide to not just flower lovers, but like anybody, like, how do
Yeah.
we get those messages out to everybody? I don't know. What can we find in mine in all of this?
It's really special though. Like that's so interesting because that's like an improv tenant
Is
of
it?
like being others focused to
Uh,
make the scene work and things like that. So that's really interesting.
you're a pro host. This was honestly my first time hosting a show when I did County Blooms, and it surprised me how much I loved it. I loved just really getting into the dynamics with each of our guests, and people are, especially these people are not performers, they're not actors, you know what I mean, they're not
Yeah.
used to being the center of attention. But I loved discovering that spark in people when you got them talking about what it was that they really loved and what they
Yeah.
wanted to share with
Yeah.
everybody, and then just like meeting them there and just digging a little deeper. And it was really special.
That's surprising me that's your first hosting thing.
Mm.
It was so natural. I think you come at things with such heart, like as you were talking about, like, how do I make this something that they're proud of? But I also think you come with such a beautiful curiosity, like innately curious.
Yeah. Oh, big time.
It's one of the things I love about you as a friend is that we don't have conversations where at the end I'm like, well, that was the Jen hour. Like we end up sharing, you know what I mean? You know those people. that at the end you're like, wow, I know a lot about you now, but you don't know anything about me. But after you and I spend any time together, I feel like there's always an equality and a curiosity together, which,
Oh, that's beautiful.
Okay, so then tell me about the CSA. Tell me about the night though. Tell me about
Oh,
like,
oh my gosh, the night. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I was on the news and sports night, which was the first night of the CSAs. And
oh yeah, 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 yes.
yeah.
I thought
So,
you were on the news and sports. I'm like, how is flowers sports? But good for you.
great
Okay, I'm
question.
with you
Great
now.
question. But
Yeah.
it is now. It is now. So yeah. So I was a little nervous because I mean, I watch the news, but I don't really know people in the news, and or sports. I'm
Mm.
not an avid sports watcher. My dad sure knew a lot of them and was rooting for some of them.
Yeah, right, right.
So I was a little nervous going in, but mostly just excited. Just honestly, like what I said, I was just so thrilled to have that invitation to be a part of it. I had very low expectations of winning. Um, and yeah, as soon as I got there, I met Gabriella, who did a show for Actor Toronto, who was also nominated alongside me. And her and I just kind of clung to each other, which was also so beautiful because we're
So
celebrating the
sweet.
same thing. Yeah. And
That's classic Pogue. Just so you know, that's a classic Pogue move.
she was so sweet. And so then, yeah, and luckily my wonderful husband Warren was there too, doing all the behind the scenes
I
cameras.
know, but that was so great. I was like, thank God Warren's like
Yeah.
on it because I needed to see the speech. Remember, I texted you. I'm like, but where's the speech? And then he
Where's
sent
the
it to
speech?
me.
Oh my
Yeah,
God. Did he? Oh my gosh, he did, didn't he?
loved it.
Um, so then we were placed in the very back row, and everybody who was winning throughout the night were coming from the front. So that instantly my head just went to, I'm like, okay, great. Woo!
Now I'm just gonna have a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
just gonna like kick my shoes off a little bit. There's no way I'm winning.
yeah,
And
yeah.
partially like thank goodness because I had thought a little bit about what I would say, but I truthfully, honestly did not expect it. So then all of a sudden they said my name. They said my name. It was fine. And it was kind of funny because I mean, I would say the tone in the room, news people from news have had a hard year. A lot of us in the industry have had a really tough year.
Mhm.
There's been a lot of holdups. There's not been a lot of work. There's been a lot in negotiation. News people, especially, like have a lot of jobs have been lost this year, and so the mood was a bit somber in the room.
Mm.
And the people that had taken the stage before it was just clear what was happening, what had been happening, a reflection of the past year. And then suddenly I went up and I was just like screaming. I was like, man.
You were like a little kid. You were so happy. But what a great energy to infuse into the night. It felt like it just felt so joyful. And I
Yeah.
also loved the thing I loved about your speech was like I think it's important to recognize, of course, none of this is done by ourselves. I think it's important to recognize your team. But then the stuff that you said about like the importance of that show, so that people who haven't seen the show, they understood why it was meaningful for you. And
Yeah.
nobody's going to get paid enough for what we're doing.
No.
It's, like has to be hard.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it was hard. I accept that award as just a really wonderful reminder and token that hard work can pay off and to enjoy these moments when they come by because we
Mm,
do work so dang
so
hard for
hard.
virtually nothing. Like my budget on County Blooms was nothing. It's done with all the passion points that I have in my bank account. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so getting an opportunity to celebrate it like that was really special.
Yeah.
It was great.
What about I agree with you, like awards are sort of recognition of that kind of thing, and it's also the celebration in your community.
Mhm.
But like, I don't even know where to start with the last couple of years that you've had. Like, how did it
Mm.
resonate for you in that capacity?
Oh, I kept thinking, like, I'm just so happy to be here. I can't believe I got a chance to experience this moment up there. Like, don't make me cry. I will cry
No,
again
I
too.
can't
I'm just
stop
like,
it. Oh my God.
I
I was
know.
so proud of you.
But also, I do credit. I don't know how much you want to go into it on the podcast, but like, I was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer
Yeah.
3 years ago, and and it plays into County Blooms because the show had been greenlit a day before I got my diagnosis, like 2 days before I had gotten my diagnosis. And so luckily, and that had been my first big break of getting a green light from a broadcaster. And so luckily, Belle was so supportive immediately and let me kind of take a pause and get, everything together for that first year of my diagnosis while I navigated like starting treatment and things like that. And then when things started to feel a little more stable and I just knew that I wanted to, I really, it was always eating me that year prior that I just really wanted to do that show. I really wanted to do that
Yeah.
show. And I
Yeah.
didn't want to pass up the opportunity. And I really would love a chance to, like focus on something else besides cancer for a minute.
Yeah.
Whatever happens. And I feel like this would be the right project for me. And also part of that too was I wanted to get back to work, but I just, being on someone else's timeline was really scary for me at the time. That's kind of another factor for why I knew I needed to be my own boss.
Yeah. What do you mean somebody else's timeline?
Well, when I work, when you work with groups, which I'm a huge collaborator, I love working
Oh
with other
yeah.
people.
Yeah.
You just want to make sure that you can fulfill what you promise. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I didn't want to disappoint anybody if,
Yeah.
which I understand the circumstances, but like
I know.
if I said yes to something and had to bow out, and
Yeah.
so and at the time my schedule was so rocky because I was at the beck and call of my hospital appointments and things like that. So I was just like, okay, this is time to do my own show, my own way, in my own time, with what works for me. And yeah, and it was another one of those like, I really have nothing to lose. I have nothing to lose. Like, here's a shot. I'm just gonna take it.
Yeah.
Whereas I think before, had I not been experiencing anything that was like threatening like that, I've just always, come up with a lot of excuses to maybe not put my whole self out there. Maybe I'm not ready yet.
Mm.
Maybe I need to like be a assistant director on a show before I take on a director role. Maybe I need to do, but then I was like, I don't have time. I might not have time. I might not have time. So I'm just going to do this and I'm going to do it my way. And I'm just going to have fun while I do it. And that's why we went for County Blooms. And that's why it was so special
Yeah.
to just really celebrate it the other night. Yeah.
I mean, the thing that you were able to juggle, like also the pre-production, production, post-production, but also you were like you were also having your treatments,
Mm-hmm.
and then you were like in the stages of saying goodbye to your treatments, which was also
Yeah.
like, and for folks like there's different levels of cancer, but Jen's is like a big one,
It was a big one. Yeah.
and somehow you navigated your art through all of it.
Yeah. It was.
Can you believe it? Like, do you look back and go, yep, I see how I did that? Or are you still like, it's not that, I mean, it doesn't feel that far away still, but
Yeah. No, it doesn't feel that far away. It was all, I couldn't have done it without the wonderful support of the few people in my corner that were helping me along with it, that were just giving me permission to just go at the pace I needed to go.
yeah.
And not every job and every project is like that. So I'm so appreciative.
Give me an example of that. Like, how did that?
Even Belle,
Yeah.
because at first, it's not like, when someone's giving you a large sum of money and the pressure to see it through and make sure you deliver is very high. But Belle was just so communicative throughout the way. Like, okay, we're going to do this in 3-month increment. Here's the first 3 months of the contract. You feel good
Yeah.
about that? Great. Okay, now we're at the production stage. Here we'll release the second installment of payments. You feel good about that? And then post, you know what I mean? Like it was,
Yeah. That helps your brain too, like even in like regardless of the fact that you're also juggling cancer
yeah,
and whatever stage that's at, like you're like as opposed to what I do, which is like it has to be the best already. Like taking it in
yeah,
like increments is probably a healthier way to look at it.
yeah. And I took the pressure off myself, I'd say too, of feeling like it needed to be perfect and just doing the best that I could on the day that I was
Yeah.
working at it.
But how did you do that? Like, yes, that's the best. But it's like a muscle, like it's almost like a muscle that you needed right away, right? Like you needed the muscle of permission to be who you were. But you must have been training that muscle for a while in order to be able to tap into it. It's like running a marathon. Like maybe I'll run a marathon today, but I haven't trained. Like, how did you switch gears like that?
Oh gosh, that's a really good question. How did I switch gears like
Do
that?
you know what I mean? Like, that's not something easy.
Honestly, just this release of like who I what I thought I had
Mm,
uh to be a showrunner, creator, and to just be me giving it a
yeah.
shot. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it sure does. It sure does.
Yeah. But and then it all, I don't know, there's just a bit of a, I won't take credit for this. I heard this on a podcast the other day with one of my distant heroes, Suika Jawad, who wrote a book called In Between Two Kingdoms. And she talked a lot about when you are sort of faced with your worst fear, and maybe it's something that, you've been afraid of for a long time, or like you haven't really, I don't know. Uh, yeah, when you're faced with your worst fear, there's almost like a calmness that comes after that. Um, because it's like, okay, it's here. That's it. That's it.
There it is.
So
Yeah.
what do we do with that?
Yeah.
And where do we go from there? And I still take that lesson, and I resonated with that immediately, because I think I was really afraid of a lot beforehand. And then
Mm.
suddenly I was faced with like literally the worst, like just the worst. And I try to remember those lessons at that time, especially, and even as like my health continues to improve, and I'm just like, yeah, you already did the worst. How bad could this be? So go
Right.
for it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, how distant is cancer for you? Like,
Mm,
do you go back to those same fears? Because I hear what you're saying. Yes, you're right.
yeah.
I have the same feeling of like the fear of disappointing other people, the fear of
Hmm.
disappointing myself, the fear, is it going to be enough? All those things.
Hmm.
And I think cancer comes along. You're like, oh, that puts things into perspective.
Yeah.
But then when you're like seeing cancer kind of slowly move into your past,
Yeah.
are you able to keep that feeling of, I don't know, you have such a power now? I always
Yeah.
thought you were like super powerful. I like watching you do things like that short film Time Out, which is
Oh
like one of my favorite things you've ever done.
my gosh. That was one of my first productions things I
Really?
produced. First things I produced. Yeah.
I gotta talk to you about that in a second, but
Yeah.
like watching that, I'm like, it's so beautifully, like it's an eloquent film. I feel like it's just like
Mm-hmm.
simple and beautiful, and your acting is gorgeous.
Thank you.
So it seemed fearless,
Yeah.
like to me. So whatever fearlessness you got or you gained from the cancer journey, has that come back? Are you able to keep it on in check? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, it sneaks in and out.
Yeah.
But I think I've definitely been able to tap into the okay a lot more than I was before. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it.
Because it's still, I feel like there is in any, once you've been faced with something like that, like there just, I don't know if there isn't really a going back. And for a long time,
Yeah.
I wished and wanted there to be a going back.
Yeah.
Um, and now I just kind of am learning to live with it, rather than consider it something that's completely a chapter closed, because I think it's just something that's going to inform all the rest of the chapters to come.
Hmm.
So in those ways, oh, I'm going to say like just a big old no, fuck you, cancer, like fuck you, but
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
thank you for the lessons.
Fuck you, but thank you.
Yeah, fuck you, but thank you.
It's a really mixed message you're sending cancer. Yeah.
Yeah,
But thank you so much.
but thank you so much. Yeah,
I know. I mean, gosh, we sure didn't want to learn that lesson, but like the
yeah,
artist you are now is pretty extraordinary.
yeah. Thank you for saying that. Yeah. Well, then stay tuned for more because I'm not done yet.
Radical hope. Remember that discussion? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like we had that came out of one of our chats sitting in Trinity Bellwoods about like that radical hope seemed to have carried you through somehow.
Hmm. Rebellious hope.
Oh, rebellious hope. I
Yeah, rebellious and radical hope. Because
No, I like rebellious way better.
yeah,
Rebellious is so much more in line with you because it's like when people say like you're like things that are hopeless, you're like, well, fuck you. I'm hoping.
but it's really easy to get stuck in this in especially with the stage 4 cancer metastatic worlds, like there are very few good news stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not here to say that like I still do live in fear constantly that it will that it will come back. And that's the reality that I live. But it was as I continued to sort of become more stable throughout my treatments, they're just like I learned pretty quickly. I'm like, oh, staying here in hopelessness land is not serving me in any way, shape, or form. It's also, and that's what I'm being fed right now, based on the stats that I see everywhere, based on, you know, what my doctors tell me. Um, and then I started doing my own research and digging deep, especially Instagram. I credit this for. There's a number of, you know, women that share their stories and still do live their dreams while still living with cancer. And I thought once I finally saw somebody doing it, I thought, oh, okay, well, if that can be done, then that can be me. And then that sort of mental shift is what really connected more with where I was at versus what I was
Mm-hmm.
being fed.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
But it's so easy to get lost in the messages that are given to us, right? Like
Yeah.
in what you're told. So
That goes for everything.
it goes for everything.
For everything. Like it's not just like the messages of we're not enough and it's not going to
Yeah.
be, but rebellious hope, I think, is something that carries you through it.
Yeah. It was one of my first moments in life of really truly being like, oh, I needed to see that to believe it. Because, you know, if you don't see anybody that's surviving a stage 4 cancer diagnosis and you don't believe that you're going to either, but
Yeah.
then guess what? Sometimes it can happen. At least, you know, people can live a stage for a really long and happy time.
Yeah.
Still. So, and while it's scary to talk about, it's important for those of us living it to see it. So that's why I try to share,
I get it.
honestly, just snippets of my life in Cancerland still,
Yeah.
because I know how much I needed to see it,
Yeah.
but I try not to get lost in it.
Yeah, you seem like you're finding a good balance though with like because I know you're involved with like the community and
Yeah.
becoming like an activist.
Yeah, I do a lot of work with an organization called Rethink Breast Cancer, and they're incredible. They just like really highlight a lot of the disparities for young people going through breast cancer. And they've just been a lifeline for me the past few years. So I do what I can for them.
Yeah. Without losing like your own journey too, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
because I think that's really important. It's we talked about like the one person show that you'll write one day and how it's not about cancer, right? But it is about
Yeah.
cancer. It's just not all about cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got a lot more.
That's why I'm here in Halifax, by the way. I'm starting a writing program tomorrow that I'm here for a writing residency for 10 days.
Yes, you are.
And so I pitched them, you know, my story and just the beginning stages of how I want to share that in a bigger platform at some capacity. And so yeah, I don't know what it's going to look like yet, but that's why I'm here.
Is this part of your MFA program?
Yeah.
You're amazing. I'm busy, but I look at your life and I'm like, I got shit to do. I'm so lazy in comparison to Jen Pogue. You're amazing.
That is not true at
You're killing
all.
it.
You are
You're
one of
killing
the
it.
busiest people I know, but
I eat a lot of bonbons.
yeah, we make a lot of bonbons.
So you're gonna be there for 10 days writing?
Yeah,
Incredible.
writing and getting in and meeting some mentors. I feel very lucky. I'm really glad to make some space for this right now. So yeah.
So because I want to go back to time out a little bit because of your
Yeah.
acting career. Because you're like, I mean, we're very similar in that sense. Like we spin a lot of plates.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we want it that way. Like I wouldn't want to just do one of the plates spinning. How do you balance it all? Like, how do you find a way of not letting the plates fall and also recognizing the skills and talents that you want to recognize? Like the fact that you're giving yourself 10 days in Halifax to write makes me think, oh, you want to invest in yourself as a writer.
I do.
So how do you balance?
Well, deadlines help.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
That's why I signed up for a program.
Smart.
Because it's, you know, something I've been thinking and mulling about for a while. And then I'm like, you know what? You know what'll help me get going on this? A deadline.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the good student in me too. But
I think that's writers all over the place. Even if I'm the boss of me and I'm giving myself a deadline, I'm also like, it's okay if you push your deadline.
right.
So it's good when the deadline's outside of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big old plate spinner and I find that it all plays so well into each other. So time out was this short film that I made with three friends, Navin Ramaswaran, who's an amazing director, Bruce William Harper, who's a cinematographer, and Adam Langton, who's a writer and an actor, and myself, who was an actor at the time, but wanted to learn more about producing because I was just kind of tired of waiting for someone to give me a job. And I really wanted to learn how more departments in film worked and how I could maybe start telling my own stories. Or working in storytelling in a different capacity rather than just kind of being a day player here and there whenever I was lucky on film sets. And so the four of us, Navin had made a feature film, an indie feature film called Chasing Valentine, and it got into a festival in Italy. And we all decided to go on an adventure together and to go. And we rented this beautiful Airbnb. And then I kind of pitched to the team, hey, we're all filmmakers. We all bring like different things to the table here. Why don't we make a film where we're in Italy? We're never going to have like a place that looks like this here in Canada. Let's do something and encapsulate it.
Yeah.
And everybody was game immediately, which was so fun. And Adam had already had the concept for this sweet little short already. And literally on the plane, he's like writing a script and we're workshopping it a little bit. And yeah, we showed up and we went to the film festival, we sight saw, and we would film scenes along the way in between all these things. And it was just so bare bones, just like Navin brought a camera with him and a little mic kit set, and he directed, did the sound tech, held lights whenever we held like flashlights above the camera whenever we needed a little extra boost, and fed us lines. But it was great, and it was such a sweet little film, and it ended up at some really awesome film festivals, and we got some great exposure.
And it got an award.
I think we got a couple awards, yeah. And it's available online at amelito.com if anybody wants to check it out. And so I always go back to that as it still is to date one of my favorite filming experiences, because it was so bare bones with such low stakes. We were just having fun and seeing how it would all come together, and it did. And then I started producing more and more and more from there, and no regrets, because I love the people I meet through producing. I love the stories that I get to be a part of. The opportunities that have come my way are great. And then all my skills came together for County Blooms. Yeah. With so much support, because I've gotten a chance to work with so many people, and so whenever I have a question now, I know where to go. Yeah. I can't remember what your question was. Did that answer that?
No, you did it. You did it. I'm going to ask you a tough question, and it's from love. I'm asking this question from love, but like, why did you stop acting in the things you were producing?
Oh yeah, no, great question. And sometimes, so that is definitely a ball that I feel like I dropped, because the original intention was to cast myself in more things.
Yeah. Like producing is so hard.
Producing is so hard. So what I found, what I found when I was acting as well as producing is like all the work to get the actors to where they are. And then the second the camera started rolling, as a producer, I have a chance to breathe for a hot second before I think about the next thing.
Yeah.
But then that moment is the actor's moment. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I found that the two, I'll do the two, but I still find that the two are just really hard to do.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I'm giving my all as an actor or my all as a producer when I'm doing the both of them.
Copy.
So I try to be selective about what my involvement will be on what projects. And if there is something where I'm just like, I really, really, really just want to produce, I have no qualms about doing that now, because I do find so much fulfillment in producing and filmmaking. But there's definitely still some times where I'm like, Jen, you're still an actor. You still really like being on camera, like don't let this take all of that, because it does sometimes, for sure. So,
well, I'm saying it selfishly because I think you are a beautiful actor, and I think you're funny as hell. So I think that I say it with sort of like, yeah, you are still an actor, and maybe the County Blooms like scratches all the itches that you need because you get to perform. And I just don't want, I don't know. I'm saying it's selfish. I don't want you to let that plate stop spinning, because I think you have a lot to give as an artist, as an actor.
You're sweet. Thank you. I think also as a producer, I'm learning to give up control a little bit more here and there and
How's
get
that
ask for
going?
more support. I know, ask for more support. And I did do
Yeah.
that on County Blooms. Like I was, when I got to be in the moment with the guests, I was really truly in the moment because I had such a strong team and we had a lot of conversations and communication leading up to that about what everyone's role was so that we were
Yeah.
covered. And I think that kind of clarity can be kindness in a production,
Huge.
just making sure that you're covered so that you know that what you are focusing on, you can give 100% to.
Yeah, because that
Yeah.
moment of like turning your producer brain and just hosting is a really like I have a hard time with that. Even on stage, like
Yeah.
sometimes Matt will be like, "You're an actor right now. You're not producing." Because in my brain, I'm like, "Did I leave comps for those
Mm-hmm.
people?" And did I? You
Mm-hmm.
just gotta like lock in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I've also decided that I don't want to be a production manager anymore. And that's a big one. So if you can find yourself for any aspiring producers out there who, might want to also act in their own things or whatnot, like just find an amazing production manager and make them your best friend and hire them for
yeah.
all your things because I used to take on all those roles and you don't need to take on all the roles.
I think I've always thought they were the same.
Yeah.
Like production manager and producer, maybe it's because I've always like done like low budget producey stuff, but production manager is like in charge of like crew
Mm-hmm.
and schedules and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, essentially, if you're lucky to have the budget for it, a production manager will take on a lot more of those tasks of making
Mhm.
sure things happen in the moment.
Was this your plan? Did you think this is where you would be? Like, did you think this was a trajectory when you went to Humber and then you left Humber and you're like, oh, I
No,
think one day I'll do this. What did you think?
no, I thought that I was going to be a 25-year-old, very successful actor,
Yeah.
and that's what I was going to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was very humbling when, it didn't happen quite like that. I literally emerged from college being like, okay, world, here I am.
I'm ready. Yeah.
Let's go.
I don't think you're alone. I was talking to some 20-year-olds and they're like, we left school 6 months ago and we haven't started working. We don't know what's wrong. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not alone. You're not alone.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah. Yeah, so I didn't, but I think like I was just so happy to be cast in the things that I was when I was in my 20s. And I was so happy to still like do the odd jobs that I had to do in between because that kept me creatively engaged. You know what I mean? I've
Hmm.
been saying this recently because I don't have the stamina to work three jobs, like I once did. Three jobs at one time, like I once did.
Pilot, flower store,
Yeah,
producer.
yeah, but like when I was a server for 15 years while I was pursuing where I wanted to be in the arts.
Hmm.
And I found I love that serving job actually, like in retrospect, because it gave me so much drive to keep working in my free time, to keep volunteering for new things, to keep meeting new people.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, yeah. And so I am happy that I don't have to rely on that as much as I once did
Hmm.
anymore, for sure.
But just think like where your flower business started.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, but I started in flowers when I needed a break from the film industry. I just was again, I was really I was just getting so frustrated for a while about not being where I thought I would be. And I just needed to I needed to make something with my hands. I
Mm,
needed to like find a different kind of creative
I
outlet
totally
that,
get that.
yeah. And that's how I kind of ended up in the world of floral design for a while. And then I saw that there was this real big sort of disparity in like just people not knowing really how to get their start in the industry, but thinking it was such a cool thing. And I thought it was such a cool thing, but it wasn't really a clear cut path.
Yeah.
And so that sort of led me to creating County Blooms, where I thought, well, isn't that an interesting metaphor for life that there is no one way to do anything?
Yeah.
But let's show off five different amazing businesses that all kind of are living their dream lives and have their businesses where they, always wanted them to be, but
Yeah.
none of them really went about it the same way.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Like that County Blooms isn't really just about flowers.
Hmm.
Yeah. But I want to talk about the collaborations because I think like you and I have similar like priorities with community that's like, that's why producing is so fulfilling. But you've got collaborations like with Film Coop, CFF, that we just worked on the Igniter with Firecracker Department.
Oh my gosh.
Like, can you tell
Highlight of
me?
my
Oh,
life.
the me too, me
Yeah.
too, me too. Still,
something just happened. Oh,
So,
somebody's film just got into a festival that was in the Igniter, and I was like,
oh, that's so
yes, I know
great.
it's really. But tell me about like those collaborations too, because you and also women on screen, like you seem to be drawn to these not only female, like strong female-led organizations, but also like really
Mm.
important parts of our community. Can you talk a little bit about each one of those?
Oh my gosh. Film Coop's been amazing. Like I got hooked up with Emily and Laura not long after I made Time Out, because I needed to learn more about producing, and they were just like me. They were actors who wanted to create their own opportunities and were kind of learning as they went by just connecting with other local indie filmmakers. And through them, we made probably over almost 2 dozen short films in like
Oh
the
my
span
God.
of 3 or 4 years. And that was my film school. Like just making those films is how I met crew that I've watched just like their career trajectory soar since then. It's how we gave a lot of new female non-binary directors opportunities to direct their first short film or calling
Amazing.
card. And yeah, and we got to act in a few things here and there. I got to play a zombie in this amazing horror film, which was
Dreams come
like,
true,
it
Jen.
was so, that was just a funny story. I remember they were like, "Hey, Jen, I know you're just supposed to like get coffee today, but also the monster didn't show up and we need someone to sit in hair and makeup for the next 6 hours. Like, could you do that instead?" And I was like, "I'll take that job. Are you
Yeah, I
kidding?
will.
Like, yeah, I'll
That's
be the
right.
zombie."
Over getting
So
coffee. Thank
yeah.
you. Yeah. But did you also just have a success with Less Than Kosher?
Yeah, I wasn't as involved in Less Than Kosher because they made that while I was not well.
Ah,
But that's actually Film Coop's one of our first steps into digital series, and they've
yeah.
done so well on that film.
Yeah.
They got independent production film funding. It's played so many festivals, it's won
Yeah.
so many awards. It was just nominated for 2 or 3 Canadian Screen Awards this past week
Amazing.
too. And so it's so fun to be with them for that.
And the mandate behind Film Coop is like not so much we're going to produce for you, but it's we're going to produce together.
Yeah, yeah, we kind of take it on collectively. And the idea is that well, from the beginning, everyone was kind of doing it in their spare time for fun, like
Yeah.
a collective,
Yeah.
like a theater collective, and so the three of us kind of learned all the roles, and we just kind of delegate when we get a chance to work all. Sometimes we take on projects independently, sometimes we work all together, and we share resources. And yeah, it's just a big lesson in collaboration.
And also the collaboration that you used to do with the women on screen.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I learned so much with Women on Screen. They're
Yeah.
amazing. Such an amazing organization,
Yeah.
run by Lauren McKinley and Kira Murphy and Far Marani. And Lara Jean Korostecki and I came up with an idea for a podcast, and we had so much support around that. And we did 2 seasons, I think about 13, 14 episodes
Yeah.
yeah, just beautiful, really polished female, spotlighting females on all sides of the camera, who composed essays that they would read for our podcast, and then we'd have conversations with them about it afterwards. And yeah, that
Yeah.
that that was a really special time. I'm so glad that we got to do that.
Okay, but wait, I have to ask you. Okay, I'm going to ask you Firecracker wrap-up questions, but I have to ask you next steps because I know County Blooms is coming back for
Or
season
New and
two.
County Blooms again. We're doing
Yeah.
it again, season 2. Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
And we're going to be doing an open call pretty soon, asking people to apply who are interested in being on the show. So
That's
really look forward
fun.
to learning who's out there, who want. And the second part of that is we're taking it on the road.
I love
So
that.
we're going to go across multiple regions and really explore what the counties have to offer around here,
Amazing.
around these parts.
That's going to be such an adventure.
Yeah, it will be. We're staying mostly Ontario, might dip into Quebec a little bit for now. And then next stop, worldwide domination.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. I also love the Bell support with this kind of thing because I think you're right. It is a unique show. And so so while you're spinning that plate, because you probably have 3 more,
Yeah.
Ashley Rains, who I know works with you over at CFF and helped,
Yeah.
and we did all the Igniter stuff together, was like, we have to start talking about the Igniter. So that's another project coming your way.
Yes.
Yeah,
Love it. Can't wait for it.
me
It all
too.
plays in together. This is the thing. Like a not wise person once told me, like, don't have a backup job
Right.
because then you won't succeed as an actor.
Yeah.
But I disagree entirely because I think community is everything in the
Yeah.
Canadian film industry. And I think that even I I won a Canadian Screen Award because I had votes from Academy members, because I think a lot of them are my friends now, because we've either worked together in some capacity, or I've worked with them at the festival, or I've cheered them on in some way, shape, or form. Like, I just believe that we need to all be there to support each other, to keep lifting each other up, because there's not a lot of support otherwise in this country.
Agreed.
So
Amen.
join what you can, do what you can, meet who you can, cheer on who you can. We're all in this together.
100%. Well, I'm just glad to be part of anything that you're doing. And if you need apple boxes moved over at County, I will I'll make a lasagna for whatever you need. I'm in your corner forever and ever.
Never say no to lasagna.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. I'll put it in the books. I love just your whole motto in life. And I feel like, wait, you said something in your speech. You said, I'm going to take a page out of my own book.
Well, I think that was, I don't know if, oh my gosh, that probably didn't make sense on the stage, because I was just on a cloud.
Yeah.
Because I was realizing in the moment, I'm like, this show is about dreams coming true, and the little steps that we take, not focusing on the big picture, but more focusing on just like one step at a time, and then you might end up there. And that's where I was when I was accepting this award. Like, I'm like, really? Like, wow.
Yeah.
Because every step, when I signed up to take flower arranging classes, I remember my husband was like, what are you doing? What are you spending your money on? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I did it all just because it felt like the next right thing to do. And it's gotten me here now, which I couldn't have premeditated that when I signed up for a floral arranging course. But
I mean, I saw awards in your future, so. And I'm surprised there are any more pages in your book, because I was like, I say that all the time. I'm like, I'm taking another page out of Jen Pogue's book. I'm taking another page. So
and
I'm surprised.
I got to remember to keep taking my own pages.
Yeah,
too.
man.
So
100%.
Yeah, that's what I meant by that.
All right, here's the wrap up.
Okay.
Fill in the blank. To me, a firecracker is?
Oh my gosh, someone who just does it.
Yes.
Just goes for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you want to be best known for?
Kindness.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
There's no right or wrong. What's something that people don't know about you?
I really, really hate snakes.
Oh, like
terrified of snakes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Copy.
Yeah.
Well, there goes your birthday present for next year.
Oh, God.
What's your favorite mistake that you've made, and what did you learn from it?
This is a childhood trauma that I'm about to unleash.
Okay.
So when I was in grade 4, I took the wrong jacket from the coat hook, and I was so panicked about it that I left it. I realized when I was walking home from school that I just took it off, and I hid it behind a tree, and I never gave it back. Like, what was wrong with me? But I just completely panicked that I was wearing somebody else's coat. So that's not the biggest mistake I've ever made.
Good,
that's
though.
a regret that seems to have just like jumped to the forefront. And so now when I mess up in any way, shape, or form, I feel the need to acknowledge it and not try to hide it.
Come on, that's fantastic. That's a great answer. That's a great answer. What's something that you haven't done but you have to do?
I think I have to go to Japan.
Have you said that out loud before? Because your face was just different. Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I love traveling and I like adventures, but it scares me. It seems very far away. And so I think that I need to go experience what Japan is and just immerse myself in a very different culture for a while. Mm-hmm.
Maybe you have to take a writing program there.
Maybe I do.
And then you have to go, and then it's all.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Who's a firecracker in your life that you want to shine light on?
Naomi Snieckus.
No. She's done.
Yes.
She's
old
news.
No, she is such an incredible firecracker that just keeps me so engaged all the time, and I'm in awe of everything that you do. I just think you're amazing. And I was a big fan of yours before I became your friend, and that's my sneaky.
Snieckus. Jen.
I meet all my heroes and I make them my friends, and I'm so grateful for that.
I get that. I'm the same way. And I honestly, you're one of the people that I have yet to ever tire of.
Oh.
I mean, there's a lot of people, but I always look for ways of how do I see you more?
Oh, same.
I don't know, projects and knocking on your door at the cottage and just saying, I'm just going to stay for a couple of days.
Great,
but I just, I love our time together. I really do. Whatever it is, whether it's working together or chatting over coffee, I love it. Or when we went to the cottage with Lauren and Ashley, and we had like that like writing retreat that was like so compact, but we got so much done.
Yeah, it was amazing.
My
Where we just
favorite.
like sat and worked on our own things in silence for a while, and then would come together and eat cheese and share our projects.
And we did a reading, Lauren's movie. Like
we're like a bunch of weird workaholic lovers.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
we just all we're all the same sort of. But we're fueled by passion, right? We're all storytellers. True. We're all storytellers, and we're all community builders, and we just want to keep doing what we do.
And we're so lucky that we get to. Like, I don't take it for granted that we get to do something that we love.
That's what I was reflecting on that today too. I'm like, I think I do it because I just love it. I just love it. I love the work. The fancy stuff is fun, but I really was the most excited to get to Halifax so I could put my head in the sand at the end of the week and get back to work, you know?
Yeah.
And I think you kind of have to be in this business because it doesn't just come to you very often.
Agreed.
You gotta put in the work.
Yeah. You got to relish the work so that it's not like, oh, I hope I get to go on a red carpet. It's like, I hope I get to create this. I hope I get to create this. Best advice, worst advice.
Oh, I said my worst advice, which was
some not smart person.
Yeah, some not smart teacher at one point in time said, don't get a backup job because then you'll just rely on that. And best advice. The best advice was honestly just to carry on and not listen to external voice. This is the page that I continue to take out of my own book is not listen to external voices, not try to be something I'm not, and to just take things step by step. And that's come from a bunch of lessons that I've learned along the way. So
I love that.
Beautiful people in my life. Yeah.
Is that the same advice you would have given yourself, like a 12-year-old Jen Pogue?
I think so. I think I also would have said, like, Jen, stop obsessing that there's one way to do something.
That's great too. That's really good.
One agency, one this, one that. Like, it's really all about you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love you so much.
I'm
beyond proud of you. I have so many cheerleading pom-poms for your parade. I just think you're the best, and keep carrying on and let me know when you need me.
Oh, always and forever. But let's do this again sometime. Thank you for having me. That was so
Anytime.
Fun.
I love you so much.
I think I forgot we were recording for half of this, so I hope what I said was
beautiful.
Shareable. But really, I share everything anyway, so no regrets.
I know. And also like so selfishly, like I was like, I just can't wait to have like an hour with Jen just talking about what's going on right now. So this is great. Where should people find you so they can follow along for County Blooms and for Jen Pogue?
Ooh. Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at jpo&co. And you can follow County Blooms at County Blooms. And we'll stay in touch. I'm always approachable. I'm always around. Invite me to your show. I'd love to come.
I love you so much. Have the best time. Let me know how it goes after your week. I can't wait to catch up afterwards. Okay.
I will. I really will.
Okay. I love you.
Bye.
Huge thanks to the podcast team. That's producer Pogue, editor Jennifer Rowley, assistant editor Sarah Galani, copywriter Jenna Peck, and huge shout out, of course, to our actioneers. That's Veronica Martin and Pau Carranza. And then our communications team with Aislinn Paul, Angela Murdoch, Jody Quine. I mean, this Firecracker department, this beautiful adventure called Firecracker Department is certainly not possible without everybody pulling up chairs to the table and getting to work. So thank you to the entire team. Stay tuned for so much with Firecracker Department. There's so many exciting things coming up, like another round of the Writers Lab, submit your scripts, another Igniter program that will launch in March during the Canadian Film Festival. We're going to partner up with Sketchfest for Women's Day, March 8th. We've got some content. I can't announce it yet, but we've got some big, exciting news around content. So stand by for that. So much Firecracker Department adventures coming your way. So make sure you keep in touch. firecrackerdepartment.com. Thanks everybody. Have an amazing, creative, action-filled day.